Hello, hello. I think I'm live. I'm just going to check. Someone in the comments can tell me that I'm live and that you can hear me. That's great. Okay, I got a thumbs up. Let's go. Hello. Here we are in Reset and Liberate. I'm Anita. If you don't know me, nice to meet you. If you haven't got your identity profile signature for elements, everything is bespoke to you. This is generic. It needs to be taken personalized to you. If you don't have that, please request it, put it in the comments, reach out. And yes, if you're here live, if anyone is here, say hello. Tell me where you're coming in from, or if you're coming in later, then comment at that stage and give me one word for how you're feeling right now as we go into 2026. One word for 2026 and one word for 2025. So my 2025 was like, what? I mean, it was intense. It was a tough one, right? Now, 2026 is far more hopeful, far more faith, and far more real in what wants to happen for me. So I have more than one word. But anyway, please do share your words. Okay, if you're here live, if you're not here live, then later on is great. So we're just going to get straight into it. Okay, we're probably going to be going for probably 90 minutes, 2 hours today. Let's see how we go. I might stop it and say, let's, go to a part 2, because if you know me, and if you do know me, please say hello. Hi, Michelle. So I can go on. There's a lot of messages. There's a lot to stream. There's a lot to have here. Hi, More. So good to see you. Happy New Year. Hi, Kate. Happy New Year. 2025, the springboard. 2026, joyful. You're so spot on, Kate. 2025 is really preparing that springboard, and now it's joyful and becoming real, a reality, okay? So love that. Love that you're in tune with the energies as well. Okay, so here is ready to reset and liberate into 2026. Give me hell yes, a holla in the chat, or for yourself, at least to yourself, to bring yourself here. I've got a sore throat, by the way, so there might be some coughing, okay? And just put in one reason why you are here today. Okay, why are you here today? Tell me, or tell yourself at least, okay? Why am I here today? What is the one thing, if I get from this reset and liberate experience, that I would be like, damn, that was worth it? Okay, what is that one thing? Why are you here today? What do you want? Okay, why are you here today? What brings you here? Give me that. Hello, Robin. Lovely to see you. One word, or write that down. Okay, the invite is to write that down. Even if you're not sharing it, I'm not going to force you to share. Michelle, my word is devotion. I love that. All right, because it is about devotion this year, because 2025, like Kate rightly said, was the springboard. And 2026 is about the devoted. Okay, but going beyond just devoted, okay, going to the next steps, okay, that actually makes it very real. Okay, it's about execution on a whole new level. Yeah, beautiful. Hi, Robin. I'm here to feel my vitality again. Good. More, love it. All right, so to bring back the vitality. And what do you want the vitality for, right? What do you want to execute? This year's about executing, having something actually happen, okay? So know that as well, all right? Because the vitality will lead to something as well. But great, I love it. Kate, hope and release, okay? Good. And so good you want hope and release, because we'll be planting the seed today. We'll be giving more than just hope and release, okay? We hope, giving you something that you can really execute as well, okay? Because this is the year of execution, okay? Joyful execution, devoted execution, execution with vitality, okay, and loads of fun. All right, exactly. All right, we're not asking for an easy year. We're asking for whatever we're doing, it has lots of fun, joy, meaning, value, vitality, devotion into it, because we're not trying to get rid of problems, okay? Or if you are, let me tell you, don't try to get rid of problems. You just want the problems that are aligned with your values, meaning, and fulfillment for you. You're not trying to get rid of suffering. You just want the suffering that has value and meaning for you. Okay, whether that's your purpose, whether that's in your love life, whether that's your children, whether that's your health, that it has value for you. So those are problems you want. That's suffering you like because it's got value and meaning, and that's how you grow. And we're all here to grow. Does that make sense? Give me yes, yes, or give me any questions you have about that. Because I know that a lot of the time, we go into these sort of coaching containers and we're like, get rid of my problems, get rid of my suffering, or this isn't working, right? Give me the results. I don't want to grow through problems and suffering. But actually, that's all a fast. And I think we're starting to realize that, okay, for those of us that are in the industry. Yeah. All right. So reset and liberate. Action, health, joy, and results. Love that, Robin. And it's about bringing that all together. All right. Love that. So let's get into it because I could just chat to you all day. We could just chat. All right, let's go. So reset and liberate 2026. Get your notepads out if you haven't, or whatever you want to write on. If you're doing it in the comments, great. That's wonderful too. I love it. But what we talk about inside of Liberate Me is your identity, sacred geometry, profile, signature. Sacred geometry, that just means your relationship with life, the universe, okay, energies, if you're into that, okay? It means you reciprocate. Even if you're not into that, common sense would tell you if I reciprocate, right? If I take notes, okay, I'm going to get a better result. But sacredly, it will multiply your result. Why? Because you're loving yourself correctly. Okay. You are loving yourself correctly. All right. And it's a relationship. It's a relationship between you and life. So, sometimes you feel like life's just not on my freaking side. Life's not working with me. Life's working against me. Okay. That's what the sacred is. So tell me, what does the sacred mean to you? What's one word, one sentence? What does the sacred mean to you? Your relationship with life itself. Do you realize that you're in a relationship? Feel that. Okay. Share that. All right. So reset and liberate 2026. Right. Get yourselves comfortable. Get a drink. Get a notepad. Get a pen. Or wherever you're going to write down. Get ready to take part. Try to get rid of the distractions if you can. We can't always. Even if you're being with this in the background, it's still immersing. This is timeless. The more times you be with it, the more you're going to receive. We don't receive in one shot, because there are 4 elements inside our individual identity profile signature. For those of you that have received it, there are 2 force elements. So true or false. Okay, so false. And those false elements can get us distracted, can stop us being able to take it all in. Okay, they try to protect us from receiving the very thing we want to receive, to achieve what we want to achieve, get the love, joy, happiness, vitality, because if we get that at a subconscious level, it's saying that's dangerous, okay? Because you had love before, you had money before, you had vitality before, you were taken advantage of, bad things happened to you, you lost everything, you got hurt. I'm protecting you. This is that energy. Do you recognize that energy? See if you can recognize that energy. Let me know, yes or no, in the chat. All right. So it's very important to realize that we have those energies. And that's why, it can take, 50 times, 100 times watching the same thing, listening to the same thing, and you're going to get something different from it each time. Okay. But you're going to get what you require to get what you desire through this 2-hour immersion masterclass. Okay. Now we have a gift for those that stay to the end, and we want to activate all your intentions in a big way at the end. So we're really going to put it out there to life itself, the sacred itself, all of that jazz. Okay. So if you can, great. If you can't, then come back to it, okay? Come back to it, reach out, be with it. All right, so what are we covering today? Let's get into it. Identity, decision, consultancy, and execution. And I know you don't know what any of that is right now. I'm going to break it down. Or you know what you may know what some of it is or what you think it is, but I'm going to explain it. For now, can you just write it down? Or you can even put it in the comments. Identity, decision, consultancy, execution. Okay, so feel what those words, what they bring up for you immediately. Like identity, what does that bring up for me? A feeling, an emotion. Decision, making decisions, what does that feel like to me? Okay, what comes up? Okay, consultancy, what does that bring up for me? Like what is that? Okay, execution, what feeling does that bring up for me? Just notice what's going on, okay? Because it will have messages for you. Nice one, More, putting it in there. Identity, decision, consultancy, and execution. So we're going to start with a bit of a sacred reading, okay? A transmission, some insights for you. And then we're going to get into more of the practical stuff, okay? Because they both come together. You cannot have one without the other. We cannot, be getting sacred, visualizing things, and we're going to attract it. It's going to happen because I feel enthusiastic and I'm being courageous and I'm being bold and I'm in here. If you're not getting, if the execution isn't happening and you're not getting the results, it's not happening. Okay. So really, it is really about having it come real. That's what this year is about. Okay. Yeah. In a very joyful way. All right, so let's just go into this reading. As I be with this reading, feel what comes up for you, any questions, any feelings, what it means to you, any connections, any synchronicities, okay? So to open up the field, and you can take a breath. Let's just take a breath, actually. Let's just take a breath. Just take a deep breath in for me. One more. And just bring yourself here. All right, let's get into the reading. So to open up this field, to drop out of any passivity that you may be in, okay? And to activate decision and presence today for you. This is not a healing room. This is a threshold. Healing will stabilize the nervous system. But identity determines destiny. So today, this morning, tonight here, where I am, you're not here just to feel better. You are here to decide who you are, who you're willing to be seen as, and whether you're finally prepared to act from that identity. So the key energetic activations today are these. Collapse, and see if you can identify yourself in any of these. So am I more in this space or am I more in this space? Collapse, waiting to be ready. Are you waiting to be ready? You can write it in the chat if you want. I'm waiting to be ready. There's a piece of me that's waiting to be ready. Okay. Another energy of collapse, one more course, one more certificate, one more healing. Okay. Or am I here from activate, sovereignty, and resolve? Am I here in 2026 to activate a new life? Not a new year, a new life, right? A new identity. So you're here from collapse or you're here to activate. Or you can say, I'm here for collapse, but I want to move to activating sovereignty and resolve and a new life. not just a new year. Okay, so more here for collapse. Beautiful. So you know where you are. So do you want to activate sovereignty and resolve and a new life? Okay, because that's what this is here for today. All right. So feel into if you can access that, or is there trouble accessing that? Okay. So that's part one of the transmission, the sacred transmission. Part two here is, okay. Let me just feed into this a little bit. One moment. I want to pick this up correctly. Give me a moment, guys. And please take notes and you can share anything that's coming through. And I'm just going to pick something up from here. Just check something. Yes. Okay. One moment. There's more that wants to come through here. So I just want to refer to my notes. Thank you for your patience. Here it is. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so that was part one. Okay. So part two. All right, part two of the sacred transmission. All right. Okay. So nothing altered, nothing corrected, nothing removed, okay, is not going to give you a new life. So are you here to alter something, correct something, remove something? And if so, what is it and why? Okay, again, you can write it down. Okay, because here in part two of the transmission that's here for 2026 as we reset and liberate is the interrupt. Okay, it has to be interrupted. Okay. Yeah. Robin, collapsed and feeling frustrated about not being where I want to be in action and activated. So you want to choose now. Do I want to activate the share? Do I want a new life? Not just want it, right? That we have that identity, decision, consultancy, and execution. Okay? Because that's the only way it will happen. All right? Are you ready to interrupt that in a big way? Absolutely. And that's what matters. Okay? That's what matters. So this is where most people fail, right? Okay? This is where you pivot. Okay? Everything you've just done is powerful. 2025, before that, all of it is powerful. Okay? But there's a truth that most people don't want to hear. Intentions without consultancy stay imaginary. Okay? Intentions without consultancy stay imaginary. All right? You must have consultancy. If healing alone worked, you would already have the money, the love, and the freedom. Or that would be growing massively for you, even if it's not perfect. Okay? So when that's happening for you, okay? So I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm telling you this because this is what it takes, right? There's been the money, there's been the love, there's been the freedom. It's very real, all right? It's growing, and it really happened. Okay. That's where you want consultancy from where it's happened. Okay. That's where you want it from. So healing regulates. So you really got to decide, what do I want here? Healing regulates. It regulates you, which is lovely, isn't it? Come on, it's so good. It does not build. Okay. Coaching, and there's a lot of coaching out there, and a lot of your coaches, is fantastic work. Coaching motivates. It does not architect. Courses educate. It does not execute. Consultancy designs outcomes and has them happen. So feel into that. What is it I'm really wanting right now? Am I wanting to regulate my nervous system only? Am I wanting to get motivation? You can just put that in. I want to be regulated. I want motivation. Do I want more education, more courses, more learning? Okay. Or do I want outcomes? Okay. Do I want outcomes in my health, in my wealth, in my relationships, love, in purpose? Okay. What do you want there? Really be real about that. And that's the invite to put it in the comments or write it down for yourself at the very least. So before we move on to part 3, I'll have a quick look at the comments. New life, Moray. Good. Right? So new life, right? New life, not new year, new life. Okay. And I've been in the imaginary world for too long. Absolutely. And we can stay there for a long time because, come on, it's nice. Right? We don't have to do the real thing. But the real thing, guess what? Here's the humdinger. Okay. Outcomes and transformation. Good. Okay. Here's the truth. When we get into our identity, okay, and decisions, real ones, okay, and consultancy, we get the consultancy, all right, and we move into that, okay, we move into that world, okay. I just want to make sure I got it, and the execution, okay. I just want to get all of those keywords because they're important. They've got energy behind it for us today, guys. Okay. So they are important. When you get behind that, guess what happens? Can anybody guess? All right. Can anyone guess? Can anyone guess? All right. I'm going to tell you, obviously. It does the healing. It is the healing. It regulates you. It motivates you. And it educates you. Okay? Because you're living it now. You're doing it. You're getting the money. Okay? You've got the love life. You've got the freedom. It's not perfect. Okay? Because now we've got problems and suffering that have meaning to us. Okay? So it's worth it. Right? And it comes through consultancy. So the reason why I was successful in business literally immediately. The first year I hit 6 figures. Okay? And the multiple 6. All right? Why? Because before that, I had 18 years in marketing. 18 years in marketing. All right? Marketing, publicity. All right? So that's why. Okay? And that's what I chose. Okay? I did a little bit of healing, a little bit of this, and I went, this is the most healing thing ever. This is the most motivating thing ever. Okay? That's the truth. So it actually does the other things for you. How does that feel? Feel into how that makes you feel. Okay? Well, I have a sip of tea. All right. So part 3 of this transmission that we're opening up with, from the sacred, the insights, the reading. So part 3 is about the controversial truth. Okay. So feeling into one of the things you want. We're going to use money. It could be love. It could be better health. Okay. But money is a big one for a lot of people. Does everyone here want more money? Right. Okay. Because money is love. So you have to love yourself correctly. To love yourself correctly, okay, you have to be in your identity. All right. You have to be in that. All right. Got to be in your true identity. All right. And we've got to be executing. We've got to have that consultancy for that to happen. So the controversial truth here is if you're not making money or if you're not got the love, okay, you're not in your identity. Okay. Now, if you've got the love, but it's not growing, okay, so you don't have to have a perfect business, career, okay, or money situation or a perfect love relationship, okay, but it wants to be growing. So if it's not there at all, okay, then you're not in your identity. That's okay. That's not a problem to resolve. Okay. I mean, it's not a hard problem to resolve. It's a problem that can be resolved. All right. And the same with love. Okay. We need the same thing there. The identity, the decision. Okay. And the consultancy and the execution. All right. Nothing else is going to replace that. It will give you the healing. It will give you the motivation. It will give you the education that a lot of us are getting stuck in. Okay. So if you're not making the money, you're not in your identity. Okay. Fully. Right. But doesn't mean that anything's been wasted, what you've done, because it's a threshold. Remember, you're here to step over that threshold. So feel into that for yourself. Okay. So identity, what is it to you? What is identity to you? Okay. Identity is not a vibe. Okay. Identity is what produces results. That's it. Right? Identity is what produces results. Okay. So if your work doesn't pay, or your love doesn't give, or your life isn't giving you joy, freedom, health, vitality, then you've got stuck. Okay. You've got stuck in healing, motivating, to keep educating. Nothing wrong with that. All worthwhile. Okay. All leading you to this moment. All right. But now it's asking you to move to new life. Okay. New life. So just feel that. Identity is what produces results. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you feel you're in your identity right now? As I say this, 10 being the most, 0 being the least, okay, or somewhere in between, because it's always a spectrum, okay? It's not black and white. You're in it, you're not in it, right? Okay, but just so you can start identifying this, okay? Good. 50%, pretty good, right? Because here we can quantum leap, okay? If we choose that. If we choose that identity, decision, consultancy, execution. Okay. Robin, is that 6 out of 10? 6%. I was like, no, it's all good. 6 out of 10, pretty good again. So we're over 50% there. All right. So 100%, that wouldn't even be me. Okay. Not that I'm special, but right. I'm probably about, I'd say 8.5, 9. Let me know if you agree. Right? So if your work doesn't pay, if your love doesn't give, if your life doesn't give, okay, it's not embodied identity yet. All right. And so what's stopping us? Okay, what's stopping you getting to the 100% more? What's stopping you, Robin, to getting to the 8 or 9, 10 out of 10? Okay. What's stopping us? It's really simple. Self-esteem. Self-esteem. So if I ask you what your self-esteem is like out of 10, and you may say it's high, so just be honest, but it's high. Okay. Or it's quite low. What's my self-esteem like? Okay. First of all, what is it to me? Okay. If you've got any questions, please do feel free to ask questions as well in the chat, okay? What's your self-esteem like? 10 being the most, 0 being the least, okay? What's it like? This is what's stopping us because we're constantly trying to fix that. And if you've been with me or if you know me, if you know Liberate Me, what do we say? What do we say? Come on. We'll give you some prizes for it, okay? What do we say? You are not broken. You do not need fixing. Okay. But what we are trying to do is fix our self-esteem. All right. And we obviously our childhood, our traumas, all our different things, life, relationships, children, redundancies, health problems, they've all taken a whack. You know, gaining weight, whatever it is, it all takes a whack on our self-esteem, right? And so we're like, I've got to build my self-esteem through what? Healing. I've got to do it through healing. Okay, I've got to do it through getting coaching and being motivated. And I've got to do it through educating myself, for reading stuff or doing courses, okay? Or whatever it may be. Does any of that stuff actually get us there? Does that actually get our self-esteem up? No. It gets us to the threshold, but then when none of us are really going over that threshold, so we're just getting stuck, okay? It doesn't get us to the identity, the decision, okay, the consultancy, the execution, all right? So feel into that, all right? What's your self-esteem like, right? Now, we don't build, it's called self-esteem, right? So self-esteem, where does esteem come from? We think it's coming from the outside, from this healing, from this motivation, from this course or this education, this book, from something or someone else, from my parents treating me better, from my love relationships being better. But no, self-esteem, self, okay? From your identity, from yourself. You build your esteem. How do you build your esteem? You've got to be in your identity. You've got to be making decisions, big ones, okay? You've got to be getting consultancy, okay, in some way. And you've got to be executing. And guess what that does? Because some people say to me, oh gosh, Annie, you're so confident. You've got so much self-esteem. I'm like, have I? I don't feel that confident. Okay. But yeah, I have, right? Because I built my self-esteem in certain things. Okay. That doesn't mean I always feel confident. Confidence is a bit of an illusion. Okay. If anything, you feel more vulnerable, right? Self-esteem, okay, is built through what? With what you're hearing. What is self-esteem built through? Just reciprocate that. Write that down. Share that. Self-esteem is built through execution. Okay. All right. Self-esteem, you say love, Maury. What kind of love? Okay. What kind of love? Loving yourself correctly through execution, decisions. What kind of love? What does it mean, right? Otherwise, we're still in that little bit so generic. Okay. But yes, how are you going to love yourself correctly is the key. So you're getting there. I love it. All right. So self-esteem is built through execution, doing it, right? Not trauma processing. Okay. Not self-love techniques, not motivation. Okay. It took me a while to realize this myself. Okay. How much time we spend in that space, right? It's like, hold on. The only thing that works is execution. But for that, we've got to be our real identity. Okay. Because otherwise we just won't be able to do it. If you're in your identity, you can make decisions. Okay. You can say yes to consultancy to someone that's already done it. Okay. That can give you consultancy. And you can execute. You're not asking for things to be done for you. You're not asking to be motivated. You're not asking to be healed. You're not asking to be taught, because we're all equals, right? We're all equals here. All right. Valuing ourselves, exactly. Valuing ourselves, okay? Beautiful. Okay. So by executing, we increase our feelings of self-esteem and value. Exactly, Robin. That's the only thing that will do it. It is the output, not the input. Okay. Now, what makes it easier to do that is to be in your true identity. All right. And then you got to make a decision. We're going to help you do that through the Reset and Liberate experience. That's, in this masterclass today. This is a main masterclass. There may be others, but we're going to, we're just going to keep going live. We might just keep going for the rest of the year, but we put a 30-day experience here, but this is a main masterclass for that. It's the output. It's not the input. Okay. So self-esteem is built through execution, not trauma processing. Self-esteem is built through purpose. And purpose is revealed through movement, not contemplation. Okay. And that's the only way it works. Okay. How to execute from a collapse was the question. Impossible. You can't. You have to be in your identity. All right. You have to know what your identity is. And then you have to make a decision. And then you've got to get consultancy and execute. You can't go collapse, execute. Okay. Who's doing that? Nobody. Okay. So those are the steps. You've got to get into your identity. You've got to know what it is. Okay. We can help you with that. Like, what is my freaking identity? When it comes to my health, what is it now? What do I want it to be? Write that down. What is my identity at the moment with wealth? What do I want it to be? Okay. What's that new identity? Okay. What is my identity with relationships, with love? What's my current identity? Even if it's one word for each of these, okay? What do I want it to be? What's that new life? Complete new identity, like it's not me, right? It's someone else. And you can pick someone, okay? We're going to go into this later, more the practical stuff, so we'll get there, all right? We're just giving you the reading for now and the transmission, okay? But you can pick someone, all right? Pick someone that has the identity. All right. Someone famous, someone that inspires you. Just not that you're going to copy them and you have to be them, but they have a certain identity. They make certain decisions. They get certain consultancy and they do certain execution. So that's how. Okay. So it's revealed through movement. The only way to move, to execute from collapse is to start to move, not contemplate. Okay. Good question. I love that question. Yeah. So remember, in your identity profile, sacred geometry profile signature, the life you have is scripted. So if the life you scripted or you want has actually already arrived, it's here for the taking, you wouldn't need more healing. Right? You wouldn't need more healing. This is really coming to the end of healing. Okay. And I've done a lot of healing. I've done a lot of experiences on healing and all of that. Okay. But it's the end of that. We can now step into our identities. This is 2026, new life, new identity, the real identity. So do pick a person. Okay. Pick a person, the identity that you're like, that person inspires me, or that famous person. Who is that for you? Okay. Who is that for you? All right. Pick a person and share it in the comments, or if you want, if you're a client, you can share it privately, or if you've got a private channel to me, you can share it privately as well. But if you can share it openly, go for it, because it's a great question, Maureen. All right. You got to almost be someone else, which is who you are, right? It's who you actually are. That's why these people inspire you. Okay. It's who you actually are, because we're actually one soul filled. Okay. We're not separate. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Great. So part 4 of the transmission and the reading is the decision framework. Okay. All right. So, number one thing to write down right now is if you can get that identity of the person, all right, and you can write down these 4 areas: health, wealth, relationship, purpose. Okay. Write those down. And then for each one, you can write down, what do you want? What do you want in your health, your wealth, your relationships or relationship, and your purpose, your work, your career? Okay? Because the truth is, right, you can have all the wealth in the world, but if you've got no health, right, are you going to enjoy that wealth? No, right? You can have the best relationship in the world, or the romance, or the love, every day is romantic. Okay? If you've got no health and you've got no wealth, you can't put a roof over your head, you can't feed each other and have a beautiful place. Are you going to be happy? No, right? If you've got a purpose, but you've got no health, you've got no wealth, and you've got no love in your life, but you've got the purpose, or maybe you've got the purpose and the wealth and the health, but you've got no love. Is it going to be good? No. Okay, so they all come together. Can you feel that? Give me a yes, yes. If you're following, give me a yes, yes. If you got questions, give me a yes, yes. And let's take a breath. In. And take a couple if you need. All right. Okay. Just give me a moment to be with those questions and share in the comments, okay? I'm going to give you more. Okay. Good. Have you been with that? Have you written that down for those of you that are here live or when you're here and watching this? In that reciprocation, you just say, yes, I'm being with it. I'm writing it down. Okay. Remember, it's about execution. All right. Otherwise, nothing is happening here. I don't just want you to walk away with motivation or education because, knowledge is no creation power in it whatsoever. Okay. Almost. Okay. Good one, Robin. Love it. Okay. Just plug this thing in. Okay. Just give you a couple more minutes, guys, to be with that. Okay. Just make sure the tech here is working. Fun and games. Okay, good. All right, we'll continue. All right, and you keep going with that. You can keep going with it, obviously, after this masterclass and activation. Okay, I just wanted to give you some time so you can actually execute from the consultancy you're getting right now. All right, and so what do you want? Okay, what do you want in those areas? The decision framework. Okay. So you're picking an identity, someone that inspires you, all right? That you think, that person really inspires me. Like, I'm nothing like that person potentially, or something about them. Even they might annoy you, right? They might even trigger you. That's often the case because of the force elements. Okay. But that's the one. All right. So that's the identity. And the decision framework is, what do you want? Okay. Because first we got to want it, right? We got to plant the seed. Now we're going to make a decision on it. All right. The third was consultancy, what I'm starting to give you here. All right. There's a lot more that's going to be bespoke to you. Your identity, your decisions is what you're going to need consultancy on, and what the execution is. Okay. This is where, we have a question. What if we don't know what we want? So the easy way to resolve that, okay, is what don't you want? Okay, what don't you want in your health? What don't you want, okay, in your wealth? What don't you want in your relationships? What don't you want in your purpose and career? All right, your purpose. What don't you want? That would, by seeing what we don't want, it tells us what we do want. All right, good question. All right, so what do you want? What do you want? Okay. And then next question is, well, why? Why do you want that? So nothing activates if we don't know why. So if I just say, I want good health. Okay, I just want vitality. Okay, I want to feel, why? Oh, because I want to create 100K this year or 200K. Why? Right? Oh, I want to have a love relationship, or I want to have a baby, or I want to buy a house, or I want to get a car, or I want to just, whatever it is. What's your why? Okay? Because I want to travel. This is why. So what is that why as well? Okay? Okay. Giving you some minutes, some seconds. Take a sip. Okay. So you got 3 options right now. Okay. Option A is stay where you are. Okay. Stay where you are. More courses, more healing, the same ceilings when it comes to health, wealth, relationships, purpose. Okay, so that's option A. And you know what? There's no shade in staying where you are, if that's where you're staying. It's just knowing that and saying, well, that's where I'm going to stay for now. Okay. And that's cool. But it's important to know. All right. Here, this year, in Liberate Me, we're moving into identity, decisions, okay, consultancy, me too. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm stepping into my next identity, so someone that inspires me. Okay, decisions, getting consultancy for my next level, someone that's got what I want, right? Because they can consult me. I don't need healing. I need to be in a room where someone has what I want. Okay, that next identity. I need consultancy and literally how to do that. Okay. And then I've got to execute. That's up to me. I can get all the consultancy in the world, but if I don't execute, it's not happening. All right. So option B. So I put in option A, option B, whichever one you are. So option B, the second option, is partial expression. Okay. You can go halfway there. Okay. So that can be putting things out there without any structure. So no structure to your health and where you want to get to with your health. No structure for your wealth and how you're going to get there. Okay. So if you put, I want 100,000, I want 1 million, I want this much. No structure in that. Well, how am I going to get there? Okay. That's where consultancy comes in, which is very different from coaching, which is motivating, very different from healing. Okay. And very different just from educating yourself about it. All right. What you require is an identity around that, decisions around that, and an actual structure. Okay. But partial expression is like, well, I'll step into it, but without any structure. Okay. Without any clarity. All right. I'll have a health, what I want, but not a plan with any clarity. Okay. I'll have a wealth plan. I'll have love plan. I'll have a purpose plan. You may be even very enthusiastic about it, but no clarity, no structure. Okay. Or you'll have the identity, but with no decisions, no consultancy, no execution. So without leverage. Okay. So that's option B. Option C. All right. Option C. Full identity embodiment. Right. Full identity embodiment. Plus consultancy. So we can't do it without consultancy, okay? Without decisions, consultants, and execution. It's just not going to happen. For all the love in the world, it's not going to happen. We can't just be in proximity, okay, of that consultancy. It has to be executed as well. So full identity embodiment and consultancy. So that means a health plan built on truth, a wealth plan built on truth, okay? A love plan, a relationships built on truth. Okay. Yeah. A purpose plan built on truth. A brand built on truth. Strategic execution, real outcomes. How do you feel about that? Are you option A, B, or C? And you can say where I am now and where I want to be. All right. So there's no shame wherever we are. We want to recognize where we are and where we want to be. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? Okay. Put it in the comments. Share it if you will. But definitely get clear on that yourself. Okay. I'm in A, I want to go to C. Brilliant. And that's great. You know where you are. All right. The next thing you want to look at, okay, with the things that you want, okay, so the things that you've written down that you want in each of those areas, what are the consequences? Okay, because there's a reason why we don't realize things. Okay, we don't realize that reason. Like, why don't I want vitality? Why am I not stepping into great health? Okay, why am I not stepping into great wealth? I'm not an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're intelligent, aren't you? You can figure this out, right? That's not it, right? So what are the consequences? Why am I stepping into a great love relationship? Even if I've got one or I don't have, why am I not? What's going on here? Why am I not stepping into? Why do I have a purpose or I've had one and I'm still dancing around it, or I'm enthusiastic about it? I'm telling myself I'm doing it, but I'm not really, right? It's because there are consequences, okay? Under the surface, there's consequences. All right. So for each thing you want that you've put down, which isn't a decision yet, you haven't made a decision on it. You've just said, I want it. Okay. All right. Liberate me in your identity profile signature. You have something we call the force element of child, and child wants things. Like we were like, I want this. I want to be Madonna. That's what I'd want to be one day. Well, I did. Okay. So, but hold on. Want and decision and the identity that will match that decision, very different. Okay. So what? So why? What are the consequences? What are the upsides and the downsides of each of those? So if you get healthy and you get vitality, what's the upside? Write that down. What's the downside? If you get the wealth that you want, what's the upside? What's the downside? Very important, because it is a downside. You'll be like, what? That isn't a downside. There is. Okay. And if you don't know, ask. Okay. In the comments or through the channels that you have to myself, Liberate Me. Okay. Same with your relationship with love. Whether you have love, you design love, or you're in a relationship and it's growing or not growing, or you want the next level. What's the upside of what you want there? And what's the downside? What do you stand to gain? What do you stand to lose? And your purpose. What's the upside of being in your purpose? And what's the downside? Really important. Okay? Because it's the downsides, right, that are stopping it subconsciously. Yeah. B to C for Robin. Nice, nice. Good. You've done the work. Good. Good on you. Yeah. With the energy and vitality, it's commitment and devotion to the purpose. Yes. What's the upside of that? What's that going to give you? Yeah, More. And what's the downside? Okay. So the downside of you having energy and vitality, did you have energy and vitality at any point? Did people take advantage of you? Did you have to do too much? Were you overloaded? Was somebody you know that was overloaded? Now they have to work really hard. Everyone relies on them. They have responsibility. What's the downside of having so much energy and vitality? Okay. And what's the downside of having commitment and devotion to the purpose? Okay. You have to give more than you can receive. What is that for you? Important. Okay. I don't know what the downside is to great health and vitality. So I just mentioned a couple of examples there, More. See if those resonate. Okay. The downside to great energy and vitality, I can tell you, is that everybody wants a piece of you. I can tell you that for someone that has energy and vitality and all of those things. And it's like, oh my God, it's relentless. Everybody wants your energy. You're massively in demand. Okay. And it can be like, oh, that's freaking exhausting. Okay. I'd rather just not have that. And then I'll be left alone. People won't feel sorry for me anymore. I won't be pathetic. So then they'll expect things off me. Fuck, I don't want that. Okay. So we've got to get really real with ourselves here. Okay. And it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. All right. We're going to get to that. We're going to mitigate that. We're going to mitigate the downside. Okay. Yes, the downsides were burnout, being responsible for my family, 2 jobs, university, and the one making all the decisions. There you go. Like, well, I'm not in for that. So vitality is like, I ain't coming into here. Right. So we've got to mitigate that. Otherwise, it won't let you have the vitality because you don't want all of that. But that's what we call a full straight pairing. It doesn't have, those 2 things don't have to come together just because they came together that way in the past. Okay. That's why identity is important. Decisions, and that's why consultancy is important. And then execution in a different way. All right. Good. All right. So what's the consequences? Upsides and downsides. Take a breath. Take a breath out. All right. We don't want to make this too much hard work, guys. All right. Just give me a few minutes to be with that. All right. And now for each of those, what's the probability? All right. Of that upside? So the upside of vitality is that I'm going to get all this wealth. I'm going to be into my purpose. I'm going to have great love. What's the probability of that? Out of 100%. My probability is, am I? I think it's 30%, 20%. No, 80%. Okay. What's the probability of that? And for the downsides, okay, that I'm going to go into burnout if I've got vitality. Okay, if I'm committed to my purpose, what is the probability coming through to you for that? Oh yeah, 100%. Okay, or no, 10%. What's the probability? Because then you know what you're dealing with. Okay, what you have to mitigate here, because it needs some mitigation. Okay, because also, what actually happens if nothing changes? Okay, what actually happens if nothing changes? Feel that. And that's why we need the next part, the mitigation. All right. How can I mitigate those downsides? So the only way you can mitigate them is through being in your true identity, having different standards, making different decisions, okay, having consultancy, having the structure and the plan and the exact execution. That's the only way. Otherwise, it will have those downsides. That's the reality. It will. Okay, so you're not stupid, right? It's not like, oh, rubbish, it won't have that. Yes, it will. It happened before. All right. Or it could happen. All right. If you're not in that identity, okay, if you're not made the decisions and you're not getting the consultancy and the structure, okay, and therefore you're not getting the execution. All right. Now, so you want to mitigate that. All right. And then finally, the transmission here, still in the reading, all right, is the resolve, having resolve. All right. So, what is your resolve like? When you decide something, how much resolve do you have? 0 to 10. 10 being the most. I have so much resolve, so much resiliency. Sorry, I would say that today. To stay with it. I have a lot of resolve to be in the identity that I'm here to be in, to make the decisions I'm here to make, to execute, all those things. I have a lot of resolve, even when everything's coming at me and saying, we're going to get in your way, we're going to stop this, we're going to throw a curveball. And how much resolve do you have? Okay. All right. 3 out of 10, more. Okay. So we need resolve. We require resolve. All right. We need that to be, I think my resolve is probably 9. Dare I say 10? Okay. That's high. Okay. Why is it high? You don't just get it. It comes from being in your true identity, making decisions, consultancy, execution. Okay. Not healing, not motivation, not education. All those things are great. Okay. They're worth it. Right. But if you're at this point, okay, you want a new life, new identity, you want real results, this is what's required. All right. And this is what Liberate Me is for coming into this year. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The body collapses as soon as I make a resolve. And the reason why, okay, is because it's told you if the body doesn't collapse, I'm going to be in burnout. I'm going to be responsible for all of these things. I'm going to have to make all the decisions. You're probably having to do this stuff anyway. Okay. Because the identity hasn't locked in. You haven't made new decisions. You've not got the consultancy or the execution. Okay. All right. So those things are important. Result. A decision is not emotional. All right. A decision is finality. And we're going to go into a decision and how to make a decision, all of this, okay, from your true identity as well. Okay. I think it's part 5 of the reading, right? And this is really about a reality check. Okay. That's what's been coming through in the sacred messages. Reality check. We've got to get real. And look, and this is not with fear mongering. I'm not about that. But if you know me, I'm here. And that's what I'm a channel for, is really the key truths. Okay. What's over and what's coming in. Okay. Because the key truth is that skills now are commoditized. Okay. Knowledge is automized. Talent is everywhere. Okay. Everywhere. Identity is irreplaceable. Okay. That's the only thing that's irreplaceable now. All right. You can get everything else everywhere else. Okay. And that's the only thing that's going to get you results. Okay. In health, in wealth, in relationships, and in purpose. Okay. Especially with AI and things like that. Okay. It won't replace you, but you've got to be you. Okay. Because people buy people. Okay. Health buys people, the true you. Okay. Wealth comes to you. They buy you because you're in your identity. Your relationship love comes to you because you're being who you truly are. Okay. And purpose as well. Okay. So people are not buying what you can do or your knowledge or any of this. Okay. They are buying you, whether that is, and the energy of health, the energy of wealth does that as well. Okay. When I say people, obviously in love, it happens there as clients or business or careers or jobs. That's how it comes to you. Okay. So really important to know who you are, decide who you are. All right. That identity right now. Okay. Robin, I feel like it's a 10. I'm sick right now, so I feels like a 5, but I'm really an 8. Exactly. I'm sick right now. Right? I've got a sore throat and all of that. And when we get sick, sacredly, it means we're trying to upgrade our identity and our victim element comes in. Okay. Which is an energy. Not that we are victims, not that I'm a victim or you are a victim. Okay, it's an energy and it's an invite to come into our warrior and say, I'm going to take action. And this is not about killing yourself. Okay, doing what you can. Resting and going into it, not stopping action. So well done. You are a 10, Robin. Right. You are a 10. It makes you feel like you're a 5, but you're not really because you're really an 8. Okay. And that's beautiful. All right. Right there with you, darling. Okay. So that's really ready, like you said, to go from B to C. All right. So you got to know where you are and what the jump is to make and honor that. All right. So well done. Incredible resolve. So why is your identity, and you could call it your personal brand, non-negotiable? We don't need made up personal brands, not fake ones, okay? But your identity and your personal brand. Why is it non-negotiable for you right now? Feel it. Answer that question. I'm not going to overly tell you why. I want you, the invite is for you to feel into, well, why? Why is it so non-negotiable right now with what's coming through for me? So we're not talking about curated. We're not talking about performative. We're not talking about influencer kind of coach or anything like that. Okay. But why is it so important? Personal brand, your identity. Why is it a non-negotiable? Okay. Which means a visible identity in motion. Okay. In decision, in consultancy, in execution. All right. So, for example, I'll take an easy example here. Okay. We'll take business, purpose, career, wealth. The key truth in that is that you don't need millions of followers. Okay. To create the wealth that you want. You need the right few. Okay. A niche authority actually beats mass attention. Okay. So, for example, like I said, with myself, when I started this 10 years ago, 10 years, insane. But I went into those 6 figures first year. Why am I telling you that? Right? Because it's important, because it took me coming into my identity, right? It took me making a decision, all right? And consultancy and execution. That's what it took. I don't have millions of followers. If you look at my Instagram, it's pretty dead. Okay. I think it's under 2,000 for sure. Okay. But that's where we don't need that. Okay. Why didn't I need that? Okay. Because I was in my true identity. All right. So you have a niche following. So not everybody knows me. Okay. But the people that do know me, they know I'm the best at it. Okay. And they want to come back for it. That's the identity. All right. Yeah. And we've all got that. We've all got that in us. Okay. It's all there to activate. Yeah. Robin, how to lead myself, be myself. So the only way, because your identity is pretty strong, all right? Because you're going from B to C, you're on 8 on resolve. In your case, it's not about comparison, guys. Just where you are is where you are. It's beautiful. Own that. Don't try to be someone else. That's the point of this. Okay. Is to make a decision. is that you can move to decision, you can move to consultancy, you can move to execution. Okay. And we'll tell you exactly how to do that. Okay, offline. But just so you know that, right? That's how it's actually got to be executed. All right, it's the output. It's got to happen. All right. So it'll be your personal brand, if you like, in that identity. So I've built really, and I'm telling you this not because it matters, right? In that way, not for ego, but to show you what it takes, right? I've built an obscenely free life. Okay, not by being famous. Okay, not by being, in my health, in my wealth, in my purpose, in my relationship, not by being the best. God, I'm not the best. Okay. But being known where it mattered, by being in my true identity, making decisions, taking big risks, take risks. Okay. Getting in the consultancy and execution. All right. That's it. That is it. All right. So part 6 of the transmission and the reading is the big message here right now, which is kind of putting myself, my previous job out. Okay. So making myself redundant. Okay. Is it's not about coaching. It's not about healing this year. Okay. That doesn't mean that if you're coaching or if you're offering healing and that's your business, okay, then that's what it is about for you. And that's okay. All right. There are people that required to go in those steps. But for where you are, if you are in this space, okay, because I understand and I strongly believe and know, okay, the opportunities that come to you are for you. Okay. So you are meant to be here today listening to this and activating this. That doesn't mean if you're offering healing or if you're offering coaching, okay, or if you're offering education, all right, or courses, that there's anything wrong with that. Okay, healing is wonderful, motivation is wonderful from coaching, and education is wonderful, and we require those steps, right? You've probably all been on them. And that's why you're like, I'm at the threshold now. I'm done with this. Let's go. Okay, and Liberate Me is moving into that space. Okay, for those people, for you. Okay, so that's the offering here. All right, that's what's moving here for the people that come in here. So there's no shade on those things. Okay, but it is around that. Okay, it is around that right now, and that's where it wants to move. All right. And that means identity-led consultancy in your brand, your identity, your purpose, in your love, in your wealth, in your purpose, giving you the architecture, giving you the structure, giving you the strategic execution, not motivation. You'll get that naturally, okay, from embodying it. The assessment, okay, the design, okay, and the action, literal. All right. So if you want an assessment right now for that consultancy, we're going to give you a little gift at the end. Okay. For that. Now, how does that make you feel? Do you feel that's where you're at right now? Like, yeah, that's where I want to go. Oh, no, I don't want to go. I don't want that kind of structure, that kind of consultancy, that strategic execution. Okay. I don't want to know the exact design, you have to be true to yourself. Okay. So if you are here, you really don't need another mentor. You don't need another coach. You don't need another healing as such. I mean, you can still use those things, okay, but you don't need it. What you need more than anything is someone who tells you how to do this and makes you do it with a lot of love, a lot of energy, a lot of fun, okay, and has it actually happen. Okay, feel into that. Is that a yes for you? What's your feeling on that? 0 to 10. 10 mean like, yeah, that's what I need. And 0 being no, or something in between. Okay. Then it helps you to know where you're at. Okay. 10. Wow, Maury, I love that. That's massive, massive shift, okay, with everything that's moving for you. I love that for you. Well done for accessing that. Okay. So, part 6, I think we're in, of the reading. And just taking a breath because, we're being with all these things, it's big energy, right? Because it's got those downsides, right? The consequences of actually getting what we want, being who we're here to be. There's consequences, right? It's like, oh, all right, on the subconscious. So well done for being with it. Just a little breath. And a little breath out. And Robin. 10. We got another 10. This is brilliant. I love it. Okay. No pressure on anyone else to have a 10. All right. Be where you are. It's okay to be where you are. All right. So let the identity choose you today. What is that identity? And you can close your eyes, breathe into it. What is that identity? Pick that person, famous or who inspires you, who's walking ahead of you. Let that identity choose you today. Start walking ahead of you. All right. Let your actions catch up. Let 2026 be the year. New life, new identity, not new year. Let 2006 be the year your life stopped being imagined and started being lived. Moving into commitment and resolve. Okay. Take a time check. All right. We're going to continue on for a little while, probably for another 30 minutes. Let's see how we go. If you have any Q&As, you can bring them or bring them privately. But I wanted to just take a stop at this stage and invite you for commitment. Okay, what is one immediate action, okay, that you can take to move into that identity, decision, consultancy, execution? All right, one immediate action, okay? We are offering the gift, okay, I'm going to mention at this stage because we're coming towards the end, of a consultancy assessment, okay, across whatever area, health, wealth, relationship, purpose, or all four, right? They don't really work without the other, but there may be one that you're really like, that one, right? I want this to move. I want these two to move. Can I have a consultancy assessment? Okay. And we're going to give you that, right? We're going to give you that. So that might be the action, all right? Robin, I'm not finding someone to model. Okay. What's the struggle with that, Robin? Okay, and we can help you with that offline as well, okay, inside. All right, who don't you want to model? It's a bit like, that question, I don't know what I want. Okay, we can also do your reading, okay, through your identity, sacred geometry profile signature of who is the person you're here to model. So it will come through your consultancy assessment as well, all right, if you can't get there. And that's okay, all right, but just keep open to it. Awesome. All right. So one action. All right. All right. So essentially reset and liberate me is opening up this year, not as a healing container, not as a motivational talk, not as a certification funnel. Okay. Not as just, reading the energies of the sacred or all of that. We're going to continue doing that because it's really good to have the energies, right? Like we got the year of the horse coming, we got a full moon coming in Capricorn, new moon, I should say. These energies are great, but honestly, they are meaningless, right? They're great if you want to move with those energies and they interest you, and you can and you cannot. That's a choice, okay? But they're absolutely meaningless. They will do nothing unless you're in your identity, taking decisions, consultancy, and execution. And that's just the truth. Okay. Otherwise, we're in that imaginary world. Who agrees with that, by the way? What's your thoughts? What's your feelings? Love to know. We're all in this together. So this is an identity threshold. This is a decision immersion. Okay. This is a consultancy gateway, a different way of doing things than you've done before. All right. This is a line between who you were and who you now choose to be. Okay. Okay. Great. So that's the transition. Now we're going to get into a little bit more to take it into the ground that a bit more. Okay. Because we've only just opened it up. Okay. And that's huge. We haven't planted the seed yet. We haven't dug it in deep. Okay. And then we certainly haven't nurtured it. Right. We just started to open up, which is huge. Okay. It's a big part of what we wanted to open up today. But if we stop there, nothing's going to happen. Okay. Hang on. I know what I want, but I haven't thought of a model yet. Great. So that's where you can get your consultancy assessment. Okay. I know what I want. What's the model? Okay. Or what do I need to do? Right. What's the identity? What's the decisions I require to make? What's the consultancy I need? And what's the execution for that model to come to life? Okay. That is what consultancy is, right? Tells you how to do it. All of that. All right. Okay. A little breath. A little breath out. Okay. So we're going to move into another section for the next 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah. You know, and I'll just tell you a personal story. You know, I was feeling into Liberate Me the last 10 years. I think, you know what? I don't want to do this healing anymore, this motivation, this education anymore. I don't want to do it. You know, I think I'm just done with all of that. I'm just done with all of that because it's been 10 years now, right? And very interesting things happened over the Christmas period. I was like, you know what? Then I realized, oh, no. It's about the hybrid, right? It's about the bridge of the identity into decisions, into consultancy, into execution. Because I want people to achieve the results, okay? Not just be healed, which is great. Not just be motivated, which is great. That's been amazing. Not just be educated and smart about it, but to actually have the results, okay? For it to become real. So that's where I was at, okay? And I took some time out this month, okay, which helped, okay, to receive the messages. And I realized the reason why I was saying this, because I don't just want to give people healing anymore. I don't want to just motivate you anymore. I don't want to just educate you anymore, right? It's just no. All right. What I want is, yes, to bring that all in, but it has to be hybrided with actual, what is your identity? What is those decisions? What is that consultancy? And what is that execution? Okay. Yeah. So that's how I've been feeling. And that's why this is coming, right? Not because I don't love seeing you all and your beautiful faces and healing you and motivating you and educating you, because, you know, there's something in me, so that's enough. There's an upgrade here, all right? That comes from that sacred, all right? So that's why you're here. Okay, you're meant to be here if that resonates with you. If it doesn't, that's okay. But that's what we're doing. Okay, for the people that want to do that. All right. Okay. Yeah. And we came into this in the 1-1 portal. There was a lot of significance in that. If you haven't listened to those, have you listened to those? Give me a yes or a no. If you haven't, feel free to listen to them. Okay. They help lay the foundations to bring you into this. Okay. But again, they won't do it alone. All right. Very, very important. All right. So there's a lot of activation here. There's a lot of identity to move into. There's a lot of decision to move into. There's a lot of consultancy to move into. There's a lot of execution to move into. All right. So good. Totally resonates. Well, I mean, I love that. Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's really important. Okay, this year. Okay, because this is not just about goals. Okay, it's not even about new beginnings. It's like new life, new identity. So it's very important that where you set those goals, you're setting it for that from that new life, that new identity, not from where you're at and can I just get a little bit better, right? Or can I heal that a little bit more? Can I get a little bit more motivated in that? Can I get a little bit more education in that? Okay, so it's not just a new beginning. It's like a whole new life. All right. And I'm going full in. Right? So we could check in. All right. January 2027. Who's with me? All right. Did we go into a new identity? All right. Did it happen? All right. We're going to hold each other accountable. So, yeah. So today I'm giving you guys a very different kind of thinking, a very different way of feeling and thinking about this. Not just new beginnings, new goals, but really what I want you to understand, what I invite you to understand is something beyond that today. Okay. We're focusing on having a new you. How does that feel? Right. Not just a new beginning, a reset. So right now, imagine you're in a movie and you've been playing a certain character. Maybe you've been playing the victim. Maybe you've been playing the heroine. Right? Maybe whatever character you're playing in life, in your health. Okay, let's take it there. So you can close your eyes, you can take a breath if you want, or you can just imagine whatever feels good to you. Imagine you're playing a character in a movie. Okay. Your current character in health, in your wealth, in your relationships, love, and purpose. You're playing that character. What's that character? If you had to say, oh, this character, if I had to break down that character, what's this character all about? As you imagine that character. So you've been playing with that one character. And now you get to select a different character. So imagine that character. What character? Okay. What's that person like with their health, with their wealth, with their relationships, love, and with their purpose? If you were that person, that new character, oh, look at that character. And they may trigger you. They often do. Who we're here to be often, they often trigger us. Okay, because it triggers the false elements in us. Okay, who we're not, that's trying to protect us. So then if you pick that different character, will you have a complete different experience in your life? You tell me in the chat or write it down. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? So what if today is about selecting that new character, that new identity? Okay. So write that down. Right? And the reason why I'm saying write it down or comment, okay, is because it reciprocates. That's you loving yourself correctly. Okay. Not because I'm trying to tell you what to do. Right? In that sense. Yeah. Because when you write it down, you see it, you feel it. Okay. You start to connect with it. It can move into identity, then move into decision, then move into consultancy, then move into execution. Otherwise, it cannot. Okay. All right. Because when you're physically seeing it, you're physically connecting with it, the upgrade starts to happen. The sacred life starts to respond to you differently too. Okay. That doesn't mean you can just the sacred or, just the law of attraction is going to work alone. Right. It doesn't work like that. Have you noticed that? Okay. All right. So you don't even have to think about upgrading. Okay. Just being with this. You're just thinking complete new person, complete new identity, complete new character. This is why we're asking you to pick one. And if you're really struggling with that, it will come through in the gifted consultancy assessment. Okay. All right. So I'll give you an example here. Okay. To help. New identity. Yes, Moray. So I'll give you an example of what I mean here. Okay. So I have come into contact, and actually, when I first started off, I worked with artists like singers, mostly R&B, like who knows, and probably I don't know if anybody knows Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, things like that. So I used to work as a promoter many, I mean, we're talking when I was like 19 or 20, right? That's a long time ago. And then I have a lot of clients that come to me that are art. I mean, we're all creators in some way. We're all artists, okay? But more these typical artists of actresses, singers, comedians, all of that. So I've been approached it came to me, an opportunity presented itself to me to book certain celebrities and big ones, like wow, okay. And I've come into contact. They start to become friends, to connect them, okay, to opportunities for them. All right, bookings, events, parties. Okay, when that came to me, I was like, is that for me? Is that my identity? Okay, to be booking gigs or for people like Paris Hilton or Craig David. These are some of the ones that have come along. And is that what I'm here for? That's so weird. I didn't think that's who I was. Okay. I knew I'm working with certain artists, or they come into my world. I was like, wow. Okay. And I had a little connection from it from the past, but I was like, So I haven't put that out there much, this work, this connector, I guess you could call it, where it's connecting artists with bookings essentially in Asia Pacific and the Gulf, okay, the UAE, where I spent the last 15 years. Okay. Obviously traveling all the time, but I have a lot of knowledge there, right? And a lot of contacts in that industry. But I never thought that opportunity would present it because I'm natural at connecting. And if you know me, I'm a big social girl. I love to have a good time. I love to party. I love to be amongst it. All of that. That's part of my identity. All right. So, yeah. So maybe some of you are aware of that and some of you don't know about that. Let me know. I haven't really put it out there in any big way. Okay. Yeah. So this is how a new identity can present itself. Okay. So what else do I want to say to you here? And is there any opportunity that is presenting itself to you right now, but you might be pushing it away or going, is that me? Like, why is that opportunity here? What? I'm not an artist connector. I'm not an actress. I'm not in that world. Is there something that's coming to you right now? Whether it's in health, whether it's in wealth, whether it's in relationship and love, or whether it's in purpose, like the example I'm giving. Okay. All right. All right. Feel that and answer that. Take a moment to answer that. And also feel into, the different identities we can go through in a lifetime. So have you ever looked back and felt, maybe you look at an old video or you look at an old photo, you're doing something or you're acting a certain way, you talk about a certain memory, you're like, oh my God, I was saying something stupid, or I'm just not that person anymore. Maybe you were drunk or whatever it was. Okay, you're thinking, what the earth was I thinking back then? Okay, have you ever had that experience? Yeah. The opportunity that is meeting you is leadership. Yes, love that, Robin. Okay. And it's like you can't connect with that human being that you were. You're like, who the hell was that? Who is that? Or you're still compared to that human being by friends or family. You're like, I'm not that person anymore. Right? So our identities aren't meant to upgrade, okay? Or complete new, not even upgrade, like complete new life, new identity. That's what we're going for here. All right? Yeah. Like you're kind of that, but there's bits there, but you're like, right? But here it's like she's dead and this is a new identity. All right. Yeah. Feel into that. Tell me your experience. So this is how 2026 wants to pan out. Okay. It's like a quantum leap. Okay. A quantum shift. All right. But how are we going to go about doing that? Identity, decision, consultancy, execution. All right. That's the only way. All right. Because I've done this many, many, many times. Okay. Many, many times. Many identity upgrades. I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. These kind of reinvent. It's like, who is this girl? Okay. And that comes with the loss of an old life and a new life comes in. Okay. Even in the last couple of years. Okay. So, like I say, right now, this journey is coming online with the music industry, with the acting industry, a lot with the music industry to be connecting, booking, okay, gigs all around for different events in Asia Pacific and across the UAE. I'm like, whoa, okay, you may have seen that, but like I say, and this just fell on my lap, right? This is an opportunity that presented itself. And when it was presenting itself, I'm like, are you joking? Can I be that identity? I can be that person, hanging out with these people, helping them out. And for it to be giving me wealth and a business as well. It's like, wow, that's pretty incredible, right? That's me. Like, you want to use me to connect? You would actually take me seriously? Okay. But as I know, sacredly, whatever comes to you, any opportunities that show up for me are for me. All right. Even if it's like, what? That's not me. Okay. So any opportunities are for me. So what are those opportunities for you right now that are showing up? All right. So I'm a huge believer in that. You can imagine the games that were going on in my identity profile signature, my force elements saying like, well, I don't know how to do that. I'm not that person. I don't know how to connect. I don't know everyone in the industry. I don't know exactly how it works with the contracts, the fees, and the everything else. This can't be for real. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to connect. I don't know how to get paid for this. I don't know how to do that. But can you guess what I did? Can you guess what I did? What I said? Did I go ahead? Did I say yes or no to that? What do you think I said? I said, I'm going to take a sip of water, see if I get any comments. I said yes. Right? Because I know and I live by it and I have done for many years. Any that opportunity that is presenting itself to me is for me in some way. Even if it's something that's not for me, right? It's got something in it. All right. And so that meant identity, decisions, consultancy. I don't know. I have to get consultancy on that. Execution with the structure. Okay. So let's see how that goes. Okay. This year. That's an identity there. Just to share a personal example with you, if that helps. None right now, but I had a glimpse of a new identity and it feels divine. Good, Moray. Good. Looking forward to embody my next move and identity. Good. Okay. Because you were A. So moving from A to C, you're coming through. Good for you. Yeah. Okay. So I grabbed that opportunity. And right now you want to grab the opportunity. All right. But you want to grab the opportunity with the chosen identity, with very structured decisions, with very structured consultancy, and very structured execution. Otherwise, it will be just that, right? It will be an opportunity that just flies by. And you're like, oh, I'm so excited. I wrote everything down. I had a plan. Okay, nothing. All right. And then it's just like, oh, wow, maybe it wasn't for me. No, it was for you. Okay. Yeah. So whatever you want to be, whatever identity you want to be right now, call it in, please. Okay. Start to be with it. Great, Maura, you're moving towards it there. So you have to let go of the old identity, right? Which is really hard. Like I was like, I got to let go of being a coach, a healer, a motivator, an educator, and move into connecting artists for gigs. Okay. Big artists, wonderful work and great lifestyle that comes with that, right? Being able to hang out and go to these amazing venues and parties, which I love. So obviously the opportunities for me may not be for someone else, but it is for me. And I have the natural social butterfly and able to connect people and bring people together and make sure everybody wins. Okay. Financially and in fun and joy and all those things. And to let go of the identity of all of that and become more into consultancy. Okay. More into the consultancy. Because I'm like, we're going to have this happen. Right? 2026. I don't want to be a coach or a healer or an educator that says, oh, guess what? I achieved all these things. Okay. And you're just getting healing and you're getting motivation and you're getting education. That's not, I have to let that identity die. I have to let that go. All right. To let you have this one. Okay. And some people will go, well, I don't like that. Right. And that's okay because that goes with it. And others will say, damn, this is great. This is what I want right now. This is what I need right now. This is it. Thank God. Right. Done with all of that. Okay. So do you understand what I'm saying? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Are you understanding what I'm saying? All right. So it's creating a new identity. Okay. And I will create that identity with a structured decisions, consultancy. So you'll see it. You'll see it come out more. Okay. With it on social media. Okay. Yeah. And so now I can move into this identity much faster. Okay. So it's completely changed myself and reinvented myself. Okay. So where is that opportunity presenting itself from you? If you can't see it, right, you'll get it in your consultancy assessment. All right. Okay. So are you willing to completely change? All right. New identity, new life. Yes or no? Or somewhere in between 0 to 10. Okay. If that feels hard. Yes, I'm struggling how to call my new identity or list the main features of that new identity. Think of a person. Think of someone you look up to. you're inspired by someone famous, someone historical, an icon. Okay, feel into that. You can't get it wrong, and we can. Whoever you get, we'll check with your identity profile signature with that sacred and read it for you and give you insights. Okay, yeah. Okay. Of course, you understand, Robin. Of course you do. Love it. Thank you. So yeah. What else? Yeah, we're gonna close it off in another 10 minutes. Stick to the 2 hours I said, okay? And then I'll be sharing more. And I will be going live more on YouTube sporadically, as you know, with me. When it comes, I land it. So turn on those notifications, subscribe, share this, comment. It helps it to get seen as well, okay? And I appreciate that. And others can get this help too. Okay. All right. So, yeah. And look, if you knew me, gosh, how many years ago? Even 10 years ago, even when I was a marketing director of 18 years of Asia Pacific, you would think I wouldn't be so shy, but I was. I was a bit of a shy kid. And I was a bit held back, especially as a kid. I really kept myself to myself as an actual kid, in my teens. And before that, I was really shy. I kept myself to myself. In my 20s, I was like that too. Social, but not being myself. Okay. So I like to have a lot of time on my own. Okay. And so you would never know I'd step into an identity like this. Like, it makes no sense, right? I was the one that was hiding, didn't want to be at the front, didn't want the attention as a kid, okay, because of traumas and bullying and things like that. Okay, so that made me think that's who I was. And yeah, so how things can change when you new identity it, okay? So I didn't know I'd be successful as a marketing director for 18 years, standing on these stages, creating Liberate Me and this identity activation for 10 years with hundreds and hundreds of people traveling all around the world. Yeah. So, and like I say, I did this all without millions of subscribers or followers. Okay, so it's not about that. Okay, that is important. All right. And a lot of people are getting sucked up in that trap. Okay, not that it's a bad thing to have that, but actually you can create the wealth from your niche. Okay, just a little sideline. Right. I think I mentioned it earlier too. Okay. So who would know that really shy, awkward person? Okay. People pleaser, all of that. And I was always ill as well, terrible health, okay, because I wasn't in my true identity. Okay, eczema, fatigue, exhaustion, shingles, you name it, okay, all of that kind of stuff. And would be this person that I've been for the last 10 years in Liberate Me, and now coming into this world of, celebrity and connecting for artists and gigs across Asia Pacific. What? How wonderful. Okay. And I did it by understanding all of this. Okay. So, and I did it by looking. All right. What did I look for? I looked for an identity. I didn't like my freaking identity. I didn't want to be this shy, pathetic, right? Walkover, ill all the time, not being able to stand up for myself. So I looked for different. My family didn't give me that inspiration at the time. The friends I had at the time didn't. So I looked for an identity, and then I found it in some friends. To start with, I found it in some very different people I hanged out with at university. Scandinavian girls, if you're out there listening, I don't know if they'll be listening, but you were amazing. I won't name names. So that helped me do things differently because they were completely different to me. Okay, my background from Southeast London, all of that. And then I did it again. Okay. I surrounded myself by people that I wasn't like. They had that identity. Okay. Or by people that inspired me. But I didn't just get inspired by them. Okay. I embodied it. I became the identity. I made the decisions. I got the consultancy and I executed it. Okay. And that's how it happens. So that's why I'm giving it to you today straight. That's how it's happened. So today is where I'm going to ask you to look around at all the human beings on this planet. Okay. And how many of them you've been inspired by. You've been inspired by someone, right? Okay. And it doesn't matter in which area or what kind of person. So what if I told you, like right now, just choose that person, okay? Choose that person. This is your opportunity to look around the world, the world around you, the online world, so you've got so much access, okay? Those that are famous, icons, whatever it is. And it's your opportunity to say, you know what? Whoa. You know, that millionaire or that actress, okay, or that mentor, okay, I choose that character. I choose that identity. A superstar, a rock star, right? A chef, right? Whoever. Kim K. I knew it was going to be Kim Kardashian for you, Moray. Yes, yes. And that identity, character comes with a lifestyle. So what does Kim K do? She has an identity. Does that identity please everyone? No. But she has an identity. And her identity gets changed all the time as well. She makes decisions. She gets consultancy. All right. So she went into acting recently. I don't know if you watch. I think you do watch, right, Murray? The what's it called? I forgot what it's called. The Kardashians. I think it's just called the Kardashians, right? She went into acting. So what did she get? She got consultancy. All right. To go into business, she went into consultancy around it and execution. All right. And everyone says, well, you can't be that. You know, you're the sex tape girl, you're this person or whatever. You can't be that identity. Oh, yes, I can. Right? You can. So good. Choose just like that. Okay. Well done, Maureen. Love that for you. Okay. Just have a feel into it. Have a think about it. Okay. You can choose any identity. And that identity comes with a way of being, a way of enjoying, and a way of doing. So, what is the way they be? What is the way they enjoy? What is the way they do things? Okay. And it certainly comes with what is the way they make decisions? What kind of consultancy and execution do they have? Does it not? Right? That's what that identity comes with. Identity comes with a way of being, a lifestyle. Yes or no? Understood? Are we understanding? And we're going to wrap it up in just a couple of minutes, and then I'll come back with more soon. Okay. I'm back right at the end. Looking forward to catching the replay. Can we combine identities? Yes and no. You do want a lead character. All right. A lead character. You can have other characters, but you want a lead character. All right. All right. So this identity comes with a lifestyle, okay? Whichever identity you choose, whichever character. So write this down. Why does identity come with that lifestyle, with that way of being, enjoying, and doing? Okay? With that way of making decisions, getting consultancy, and executing. Because that identity has got to do with the inner world, right? If you stripped everything away from, say, Kim Kardashian, okay, they would get to the same place, okay? Because they've got the same model. So you could strip everything from me. Okay, I could lose it all, which I have many times. Many times it's gone to zero, just crash, burn, and the phoenix rises from the ashes again. Why? Okay, because that inner world is there. It's got to go pick an identity. Okay, make decisions, get consultancy, right? And execute. And boom, it rises up again. Okay, it's not rocket science. Okay. All right. So that's what has to change. Okay. This is why we see, the identity has to upgrade. All right. This is why you see many millionaires or lottery winners and things like that. They make it and lose it, right? Okay. And yeah, they can reinvent themselves because they've got addicted to that identity instead of just keep growing it and allow themselves to receive more and more. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. So why does it happen? Why do we create things and then go, I'm going to take it all away now? All right. Because that's the identity. But if the identity, like Kim Kardashian, is just like build, 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 identity, decisions, consultancy, execution, you just keep receiving more and more and more and more because that's the inner world. Okay. Okay. So you have a bigger version of you. You have a more abundant version of you or a whole different identity. You have a more wow, a more amazing, a more whoop, can I be that identity version of you? Yes or no? Okay. You have something you want to achieve, you have some dream, some goal, and it's probably quite big, right? It's probably quite big. All right. So, how do you achieve that reality? Identity, decision, consultancy, execution. By first achieving that identity. Okay. So if we don't see that, you can forget about decisions. You can forget about what have I got here? I feel like my battery's dying, so I'm going to come off. All right. So you achieve that identity first, and then you get to the decisions and consultancy execution. Otherwise, we can't get there. All right. So you have to know that identity. That's all I'm asking you to be with today. I'm looking around because I think my battery's going to die. Okay. And I can't see a charger for the life of me. Is this thing charging in here? Let me see. No. No. Anyway, we're at the end of the session. So I love you. All right. We are all in this together. I'm doing this with you. All right. This reset and liberate experience. Give me one final word for how you're feeling now, and we'll be back with more soon. And if you would like your consultancy assessment, just reach out for it, comment, reach out to me, and we can deliver you that as a gift. Okay. Downloading what you've got from this masterclass. Okay. With that reciprocation. We work together. I am sending you so much love. And we'll be back on. This is a 30-day experience, so there'll be different things that are dropping at different times, okay? And I think there'll be a part 2 to the masterclass as well, because there's so much more that wanted to come through. So there will be, or we'll do them in smaller bursts, okay? More hopeful. Good. Glad to hear it, baby. Glad to hear it. Okay. Lots of love. I'm going to end the live. Please reach out with any questions or comment. We'll be checking the comments. Or you can reach out to me privately in your private channels or DMs. Okay. I love you. Well done. Great start to the reset and liberate. Yes, please. And the world is excited. And the word is excited. Well, the world will be excited when you get to your identity too. Good. Woo! Lots of love. I'll speak to you soon. And I'm just going to load this up. Take me a minute. All right. See you next time.